Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. What's the real secret to building wealth? It isn't some complicated investing strategy. There isn't some secret loophole that you need to know about. Instead, it just comes down to your income. Most people believe wealth comes from investing, savings, or just even sheer luck. And yes, investing and saving absolutely matter. And none of us would turn down a little bit of luck now and again. But the part that many people miss is that your income today is the foundation of your wealth tomorrow. And the latest data from the Federal Reserve makes that crystal clear. Income and wealth move together step by step all the way up the ladder. These insights come from the 2022 Survey of Consumer Finances published every few years by the Federal Reserve. So it's the most up-to-date data available. It's also highlighted in the incredible book that I just finished called The Wealth Ladder. And if you haven't read this book, I absolutely recommend it. It's amazing. And one of the biggest takeaways from this book was this: you should spend according to your net worth, not according to your income. This is a transition that a lot of people miss. They start earning more, and so they automatically start spending more, but this doesn't give their income a chance to do its real job, which is to build wealth. The author puts it this way, and I'm going to quote it directly. A fundamental truth about getting rich: it all comes down to your income. Your income today is the foundation of your wealth tomorrow. It is the bedrock on top of which everything you desire financially will be built. So let's take a look at what the data actually shows. The Federal Reserve's numbers make the connection crystal clear. Median income increases step by step with net worth. First, let's look at how the wealth ladder actually breaks down from the book. It's broken down into 6 levels, and essentially they're in multiples of 10. Level 1, a net worth less than $10,000. Level 2, net worth of $10,000 to $100,000. Level 3, $100,000 to $1 million. Level 4, $1 million to $10 million. Level 5, $10 million to $100 million. And level 6, a net worth of $100 million or more. Now here's where things start to get interesting. Let's look at the median net worth as tied to wealth level, because that really shows how strongly tied income and net worth are. Households with that net worth of $10,000 or less tend to have a median income of just about $32,000. Households with $10,000 to $100,000 as a net worth, level 2, that median income increases to about $48,000. For level 3 net worth, the median income jumps to about $83,000. For households at a level 4 net worth, $1 million to $10 million, the income nearly doubles. Median income here is about $197,000. For level 5 households, net worth of $10 million to $100 million, median income soars to about $724,000. And for those at the very top, level 6 households with $100 million or more as a net worth have a median income of an astonishing $4.3 million. So what does that data really tell us? We see an unmistakable pattern. As wealth level increases, so too does income. This is not random. Income is the fuel that powers wealth building at every single level. And those who are successful at climbing the wealth ladder are the ones who successfully turn a higher income into a higher net worth, not just higher spending. What's really incredible is this data point. Between $100,000 and $1 million in net worth, or level 3, the median household income is about $83,000. That's almost exactly in line with the median household income in the US. That's a really powerful reminder that building a meaningful level of wealth isn't reserved for those with sky-high incomes. Even households with the median net worth can land in the level 3 category of wealth, and they can do so by saving and investing and keeping lifestyles in check. So yes, generally speaking, higher incomes almost always translate into higher wealth. But there is a second data set that adds a lot of context, and that's wealth distribution by income group. Let's start with the bottom 25% of earners, those making under $35,000 a year. Their median wealth is just over $8,000. And even at the 75th percentile, it's about $135,000. That shows how tough it is to build wealth at lower income levels. Move up to the next group. $35,000 to $70,000 in income. Here, wealth levels jump meaningfully. The median is $81,000 and the top quartile pushes past $300,000. So doubling your income more than 10x's your potential wealth. Now, the $70,000 to $140,000 income range, the heart of America's middle to upper middle class. The median wealth here is about $236,000 and the 75th percentile is over $500,000. This is where compounding really starts to kick in. Finally, the top 25% of earners, those making over $140,000. Median wealth here is $1.2 million, and the top quartile nearing $3 million. The spread gets enormous at this level. Your choices matter more than ever. This is one of the strongest relationships in all of personal finance. As income increases, so too does wealth. Maybe not immediately, but inevitably. But these ranges do show how much control and influence you have on your financial outcome. Because yes, as your income increases, it should be easier to save. But if you're not deliberately making choices that will increase your wealth over time, you could find yourself making more, but still being on the lower end, maybe in the 25th percent category of wealth level for your income tier. On the other hand, those who stay at a higher income level for longer or are more deliberate with their choices can easily move into the 50th percentile or the 75th percentile of their income group. It just takes deliberate choices and patience. And notice how wide these ranges get. At the lowest income percentile discussed, the range goes from a net worth of just $630 at the 25th percentile to over $135,000 at the 75th percentile. That's a large spread, but let's look at higher income earners. Those with incomes over $140,000. At that wealth level, the 25th percentile net worth is about $500,000, while the 75th percentile is nearly $3 million. The higher the income, the larger we see with this wealth gap. So that really begs the question, what are you doing to convert your income into wealth as your income increases over time? You have to be a powerful player here. And here's the tension. Most people don't use this relationship between income and wealth right away. Instead, they spend according to their income, not their net worth. And that was really one of the most powerful takeaways from the book, The Wealth Ladder. And I truly think it was right in the first chapter. It was this: you should spend according to your net worth, not according to your income. At first glance, maybe that sounds intuitive, and maybe it's just another way of saying, hey, don't inflate your lifestyle too much. But sometimes when things are said in a different way, they land differently. And this one landed differently with me. I think this is a very powerful way to phrase it, and I think it's incredibly useful. Think of it this way. Let's say you just landed a new amazing job that pays $200,000 a year. Congratulations. But let's also say that you have a net worth of $0. You shouldn't immediately go out and buy a luxury car. Instead, what you should do is take your income, your new high income, and put it to work building wealth. Your paycheck is the fuel that allows you to build wealth, but it's not wealth itself, and it shouldn't dictate your spending. Otherwise, you could easily end up like so many other six-figure earners who say they still feel broke. In fact, according to recent surveys, around 50% of six-figure earners say they're living paycheck to paycheck. So spend according to your wealth level, not your income, and give your income the opportunity to do what it can do best, which is serve as the fuel to help you climb the wealth ladder. Now, if you know me and you know my videos, you know that I like to try and take concepts and convert them into actionable steps. So how can we build the wealth ladder playbook, so to speak? If income is our foundation, how do we actually convert that into wealth without letting our lifestyle steal all the gains? Number one, instate savings rate guardrails by wealth level. Maybe the simplest way to think about it is, what should you be focusing on at each wealth level? Level one, net worth of less than $10,000. Try and save 10 or 15% to build momentum. Here, the focus is on building your emergency fund and capturing the employer match. Level 2, try to push your savings to 15 or 20%. Here, the priority should be killing any high interest debt if you have any, maximizing that employer match, and if you're eligible, starting a Roth IRA. Level 3, a net worth of $100,000 to $1 million. Increase your savings rate to 20 or 30%. Here, maybe you consider adding a taxable brokerage account to your investing mix. So you have investments that are outside of a tax-deferred or tax-free account that you can access at any time for any reason, no penalty, no early withdrawal restrictions. You have investments that are truly yours anytime you need them. Also, check on your investments, make sure that everything is automated so you don't have to rely on you going in every single month to make your contributions. Level 4, net worth of $1 million to $10 million. Maybe you have a savings target of 25 or 35% of your income. At this level, you really want to make sure you're optimizing your taxes, using smart asset allocation, and really guarding against lifestyle creep. And finally, levels 5 and 6, the focus really shifts to tax strategy, risk management, and estate planning. But don't let your savings rate drop to 0. Now, increasing your savings rate as your income increases should absolutely be feasible. It can be incredibly difficult or darn near impossible to save 35% of your income if you're only making $35,000 a year. But if you can get to the point where you're making, say, $150,000 a year, maybe you can easily save 35% of that. It depends on your lifestyle, though. And here's my personal take. The vast majority of people who are disciplined savers and investors and contribute to investments for an entire working career, maybe 30 or 40 years, could easily work their way into wealth level 3 or perhaps even wealth level 4. But to work your way into wealth level 5 or 6, getting beyond $10 million in investments, that's going to take something way more than disciplined saving and investing. For the vast majority of people, that might take starting a business and selling it, something beyond just disciplined saving. And for me, chasing the final rung on the wealth ladder isn't even appealing. I'm not a person who wants multiple homes or a yacht, so I wouldn't even have a lifestyle that would warrant something like $100 million in investments. To me, I would much rather prefer more quality time with family and friends, and that's more important than chasing a bigger bank account balance. So as you climb the wealth ladder, I definitely think it's worth asking yourself, am I chasing wealth just for the sake of a higher number, or am I building a life that I truly want? Now, ultimately, only you know the answer that's right for you, but I think it is important to know the answer to this question. Number 2, the raise rule. Earmark a percentage, say 50% of any raise or any bonus to immediately go towards paying down debt or going towards your investments. Make this automatic. Number 3, lifestyle upgrade triggers. Spend by net worth. So maybe you have pre-chosen wealth level checkpoints where you allow yourself to increase or upgrade your lifestyle a little bit. Maybe when you hit $50,000 invested, and then when you hit $100,000 invested, then you hit $250,000, $500,000, and so on. So you have controlled lifestyle upgrades. Track your income to wealth conversion rate. And I do have a formula that I use for this. So it's your change in net worth, excluding your market gains, plus any debt principal repaid, all divided by your gross income. So the first part of this formula is your net worth growth, excluding market gains. So this is the increase in your investments with the investment gains stripped out. Now, why would we want to do this? Because we want to measure how much of your wealth growth actually came from you and your income, not just an increase in the stock market or an increased value of your home. For example, if your investments returned $20,000, but that was strictly from the S&P giving you an increase, that doesn't count here. But if you contributed $10,000 to your investments throughout the course of the year, that counts. The second part is debt principal repaid. Every dollar of debt you pay down increases your net worth. So if you paid $6,000 towards your principal on your mortgage this year, this counts. And finally, gross income for the past 12 months. This is your total income before taxes. So it's your salary, your bonuses, and any business income you have, all of it gets added here. So let's do an example. Let's say you have a gross income of $100,000. Your net worth at the start of the year was $150,000. Your net worth at the end of the year, $190,000. Market gains inside your account were $20,000 and debt principal repaid was $5,000. So the total change in your net worth was $40,000. Subtract out the market gains of $20,000, add the $5,000 in debt principal repaid, that's $25,000, your income to wealth gain, divided by your gross income, that gives you a conversion rate of 25%. How you might interpret this? For levels, say 1 to 2, a 15 to 25% conversion rate would mean you're successfully converting a meaningful chunk of your income into wealth while getting started. Maybe at level 3, you want to target a 20 to 30%. This is a sweet spot for growing wealth aggressively. At level 4, you might even say that 15 to 25% is fine because by then, market returns compounding itself is doing more of the heavy lifting than your contributions. Let's do a quick example with the level 3 median income. Let's say you have a 20% savings rate, the median income for the level 3, which is $83,000. That works out to a savings of about $16,600 per year. Let's also say you work for an employer who offers a 5% match. That's going to add in another $4,100, bringing your total annual contributions to just over $20,800 for the year. Starting with $100,000 already invested and assuming a 7% annual return, here's how long it would take to reach $1 million invested. Without the employer match, about 20 years. With the employer match, about 18 years. So simply taking advantage of that employer match can shave 2 full years off your journey to becoming a millionaire. But this also shows that even at a higher income level, it takes time to build wealth. What are some action steps you can take in the first year? Turn on auto escalation. Increase your savings rate by 1% every 6 months until you hit your target savings rate. Pre-commit your next raise or bonus. 50% goes towards investments. Pick your next wealth level checkpoint and write down the next lifestyle upgrade you're going to allow yourself to have once you get there. Schedule quarterly KPI, key performance indicator review. Here, maybe you check your income to wealth conversion rate, you see your net worth progress, you just see if you're making progress towards the goal you've set. So here are the big lessons. Income is your foundation. Every level of wealth is built on it. Discipline beats the paycheck. High incomes won't build wealth if you spend it all. And finally, spend by wealth, not by income. That's how you keep climbing. So the next time your income goes up, ask yourself, will I spend like I got richer? Or will I buy my next rung on the wealth ladder? What are your thoughts? Are you willing to check out this book or have you already read it? Share them in the comments down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. And the latest data from the Federal Reserve makes that crystal clear. And the latest data from the Federal Reserve makes that crystal clear. Oh my goodness. Clear. You can't immediately go out and buy a luxury you shouldn't. You could. Don't do it. How do we actually convert it into wealth? I think I looked at myself over there. My eyeballs are going to be doing something weird. We're not going to have that.